That Belichick has a lot more upside because his coaching career can last longer than Brady's playing career at this point, and added that TB12 jumped from a potential rebuilding situation to a squad ready for Super Bowl contention, saying, quote, he went down there. How many Pro Bowl receivers? You got Gronk to come down there, Antonio Brown. They had a hell of a defense. They have a system. Shannon, I'm guessing you'll agree with Ty Law here?
I do. It's called the Patriot way, not the TB12 way. Coach Belichick created that. Coach Belichick put into place is team before I. There is no ego. I coach all you the same. I treat you all the same. You do what's in the best interest of the football team. This is the way we do things offensively. We don't dive, put the pylon, the ball out, try to dive for the pylon. We don't do anything that could potentially cost us. And the way the locker room is configured and the way they do things, that's all Coach Belichick. When Tom left, he took those principles and took it down to the Tampa. Mm-hmm. And Ty is absolutely right. This was a rebuilding. And you see what they've done to let you know how they were rebuilding, Skip. They drafted 2 tight ends and they moved on from them in free agency because they got 2 more. And then they drafted another wide receiver.
To a career low.
And they went and got 2 wide receivers. And so for me, and they drafted a quarterback in the first round. Now, I'm not so sure if they had the weapons that they have now that Tom would have been like, okay, I think we can win with this. But he saw, man, we got me on fumes, Coach. He goes down to Tampa. Ty Law is absolutely right. They got receivers in place. He gets Gronk to come out of retirement. We're going to talk about Gronk a little later. He gets AB to join him. He finally convinces Bruce Arians and Jason Light that AB, I can handle AB. I can keep him in check. And they have a young, talented defense that if they didn't play 75 snaps every game because Jameis was turning the football over, they could be really good. And Tom was able to capitalize, go down there with his knowledge, to take the Patriot way, what he learned over 20 years there, implement it here. So for me, I agree. Let's give this go. Look, we're gonna go back and forth. It's gonna debate for years and years to come. Who's more responsible for the success that was going on in New England? Is it Coach Belichick or was it Tom Brady? When both of these guys are retired, Tom is no longer there. Mm-hmm. When Coach Belichick hangs it up, we're gonna see did Coach Belichick win another Super Bowl without Tom? Because Tom left and he won without Coach Belichick. So clearly Tom could win. Now, I don't believe he would have won necessarily that many without Coach. And we're going to be able to argue and says, I don't believe Coach Belichick maybe would have won unless he got a Peyton Manning or somebody like that because you got an all-time great quarterback. You got a top 100 player in the history of the game. So you ain't going to just take some willy-nilly quarterback and win that much. But I agree. I give a lot of credence. Skip, what were the Nets before KD? Nobody ever picked the Nets. The Cleveland Cavaliers before LeBron, they weren't picked to represent the East. They weren't picked to represent when go to the NBA Finals.
Okay, so?
Got what you're trying to say. The Succaneers. Okay, yeah, I get the history. Are they not talented? Okay.
Did anybody but Genius Brady see the talent that could manifest itself with some leadership?
Bruce Arians saw it because remember Bruce Arians said he was done. He was done with coaching. I'm done. I ain't coaching no more after he left Arizona. And lo and behold, that job opened up.
Okay. I shall start with Ty Law. We've had him here on the show. Yep. I love Ty Law.
Yep.
I really loved him as a player. He was a classic Patriot. He was a supremely talented corner, and he allowed that defense to do things against the St. Louis Rams that a lot of corners would not be able to stand up to.
Right.
Okay, so we get that. And yet, because he's a Patriot legend and now a Hall of Famer, when he's on WEEI radio in Boston,
the official station of the
you have to say the politically correctest answer. You have to take the safe way out of that question. Who you give more credit to? Well, you have to say the guy who's still there, because Belichick is still there and he's going to be there for the foreseeable future.
Yeah, and I still want to go to games.
And he still wants to go to games. So if you say Brady, even if in your heart of hearts you believe that Brady was at least 50-50 on credit,
right,
it's not the wisest way out of WEEI interviews.
Right.
Okay, so in the end, I'm going to take some of this with
a grain of salt.
Well, maybe about 1,000 grains of salt. Okay, so the first answer he gives is Belichick has a lot more upside because Belichick can coach a lot longer than Brady can play.
Right.
Are you sure? I'm asking, are you sure about that? It will not shock me if Tom plays for 3 more years. I guess it wouldn't shock me if he played 5 more years. Bill is going to have to start living up because his owner already put him on notice. We're going to spend all that money. I want some results.
Right.
Because they've never spent money like Bill was allowed to spend money this past offseason. He just threw a whole bunch of money at free agency on day one.
But that's what he said. Think about how much money I saved you on your quarterback. I never paid him what he was rightfully earned.
Well, that's true.
So
okay. All right, I give you that. But all I know is that so far, Bill Belichick, the architect of the franchise, he is the GM. He is the team builder, right?
Yep.
He's the president. He runs the football operation. He picks the players.
Right.
All I know is he went 7-9 without Brady, and now he's 0-1 without Brady in the Mac Jones new era.
Correct.
Having lost as a favorite at home on opening day to Tua and the Dolphins.
Right.
17-16. Well, can't sell that to the owner. So are we sure? Like, is this, if Bill keeps going along this trail right now, at some point, a year, 2 years from now, Mr. Kraft's going to say, I don't know, Bill. I'm not sure I'm seeing results here. I'm not seeing enough progress. So again, can he coach a lot longer than Tom can play in New England? I don't know about that.
Skip, I just don't see a scenario. Mr. Kraft probably paid $150 million for that franchise. It's worth almost $5 billion. And I think there are some times that Mr. Kraft didn't think he had a Super Bowl winning team, and Coach Belichick was able to get this team over the get it over the finish line with a championship. So I just don't know how. I just don't know how. Now, maybe Jerry Jones, but who fires a coach that's won 6 Super Bowls?
Maybe you're right. Maybe only Jerry, who fired Jimmy once upon a time after 2.
But 6 and
okay, all right, fair enough. But now we get back to my stance, and my stance has not changed, except I'm almost ready to go up a little bit. But I was 75% of the credit to Brady, 25% to Belichick, and I told you after the Super Bowl,
you went to 80.
I was 80. I was at least 80 because what Brady pulled off without Belichick in the middle of a pandemic with no preseason is still incomprehensibly great to me. On all the above, on what he said was a torn MCL.
You know that from that you say that. Kind of like what LeBron did in the middle of a pandemic in a bubble. I don't think we get.
Did he have a torn knee ligament? I don't remember that. No, I don't think so. So you say Belichick was the Patriot way. I will agree. He created that dynamic.
Right.
He installed and tried to instill these rules that you detailed beautifully. I got all that.
Right.
But who fueled the Patriot way, who implemented it, who operated the Patriot way was Tom Brady, because he had to continue to tell the locker room, he's a bad guy. You know, he's impossible. Just tune him out. Tune him out. We got this. We're going to win Sunday. Just close your ears to it. All of his ranting and raving and all of his criticism and his scathing rebukes on the practice field, just let it go, because we got this.
Right.
We will win in spite of him. I think that's basically what Brady had to keep telling generations of players who came through there who would have mutinied on Bill Belichick. A young Shannon Sharp, I just don't know if you could have taken him, although your Dan Reeves had some going on there. Maybe.
Because remember I told you, if you get drafted in that situation and that's all you know, it gets difficult. A lot of times it's difficult for players that's coming from other places. Like Ocho Cinco was never the same.
No.
He couldn't be what he was in Cincinnati. The fun-loving guys having fun, taking the pylon, doing the river dance and things like that. He took that away from him.
He did.
Well, it was like it was his secret power.
Yep.
And so for Brady, what Brady was able to do, Skip, anytime you try to have a code, it's like the Marines. Skip, honor, code, loyalty. Okay, that's their ethos. You got to have people that's in place that train the recruits. And then when the recruits go, that's kind of the creed in which they live by.
Yep.
Now you get a jacked up, leader, and then you're going to have jacked up recruits.
Yep.
He had the perfect leader to implement his system, the Patriot way. He had the perfect guy. Because what if he get a guy that buck, man, forget that. This is what we going to do, guys. Mm-hmm. Guys going to follow it. Don't care how jacked up the quarterback is, you're going to find some people to follow him, Skip. That's just the way it works.
Okay.
So he had the perfect leader. What he wanted, the Patriot way, what the values were.
Yep.
He found the perfect soldier, the perfect general that could lead.
He was a soldier and a general all rolled into one.
Yes.
Because he would do what the quote-unquote general said.
Right.
But then in the locker room, he was the general.
Right.
He was the last word in the locker room. So I'm going to boil this down for you and Ty Law. To me, Tom Brady has become the greatest leader in the history of sports, and I believe he's the clutchest player in the history of sports over a duration of time. Jordan was 6 championships with 6 MVPs.